Good morning, everyone. Hello, it's Wes with Wes Berg Tarot. What's up, y'all? It is Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. I don't know what day of the week it is necessarily, but I know it's January 2nd of 2018. That I can tell you. Yeah, I believe it's a Tuesday. Anyhow, I'm here with another installment of Tarot Card of the Day. I have shuffled. We're ready. Here we go. Boom. The Devil. All right. So, pop this up here. I'll just make sure it's kind of front and center here. So we have a major arcana card here, kind of on the latter end of the spectrum. I believe this is number 15 in the deck. The major cards. This card is initially very scary looking because some devil dude with an upside down pentagram kind of looking at two people that we've saw in the Lovers in a really nice kind way, now being presented with devil horns and chained to this post. Not a pretty picture. And so certainly would feel very reasonable to kind of invoke some potential like WTF with this. And especially if it was something specific, like, oh gosh, this card? It is what it is. And so I'll talk about it as best I can and kind of illustrate perhaps how you might want to work with it. So we all talk about this metaphor of wrestling with our own demons, and that's kind of what this card is really all about. Laura, hey, good morning. So rather than it being something like there's an actual like devil or the demons or something in a real visceral kind of horror movie kind of way trying to come out and get you, this is more, I think, of an internal process and part of people's kind of spiritual journey. This is about kind of acknowledging and recognizing the shadow parts of who we are. Hi. So it is what it is, and part of what we have to do when we look at ourselves, when we kind of go down these journeys with ourselves, is that we need to. Card of the day, my love.
Huh?
Card of the day.
Oh.
Christine was talking to me. Sorry. So I just wanted to finish this thought. So anyway, when this card shows up in a reading and I start talking about it with people and kind of unpacking it, I basically like to talk about how, when you have to confront those aspects of yourself, when you have to confront kind of the internal process of what's going on in yourself, there's always the good stuff and like the willingness to kind of move forward and be positive. But there's also looking at your crap and looking at your stuff. Yeah, shadow side. Laura, that's a really great way of looking at it. And for a host of reasons that I won't kind of jump into right now, but Christine, she runs a course on this stuff. So she's really well versed with this idea of what shadow sides and shadow work and how to kind of at least recognize and look at that aspects of who you are that you might not like, that might not necessarily be pretty, but are a part of who you are and are worth exploring. So I'll just kind of sum it up with this. If this card shows up for me with people, I talk about like, what is there? Are there things that you have to deal with in your life that you don't really find or you're liking, that you're proud of, or that are issues? Like I said before, those kind of the metaphor of the inner demons that we all kind of have to contend with. It is what it is. We have them. What we do with them is what's important, and that's kind of what I wanted to emphasize here. So here it comes. If this card resonates with you as something divinatory today, then you'll have the opportunity to recognize maybe some of the parts of yourselves or some of the behaviors or attitudes or however it manifests for you today that you're not necessarily into or that you like. You could look at it as external as being like, I feel afflicted and I feel upset and it's just your reaction to things, or you could look at it more from an internal process of like, these are issues and things that I have to contend with, and it's hard and it's difficult and I don't like it. So recognizing that this is a part of who you are is an important thing. And perhaps today that's what's going to show for itself for you. But the question, of course, the next thing is, what are you going to do about it? And that's the next step. Recognizing that you've got this stuff that is part of who you are, and trying to, if you're going to think about the long term, taking any sense of adversity you have, potentially turning it into a strength. But you got to do that by looking at yourself, that rough examination, that hard rather examination of yourself potentially, and determining what you need to do and what you need to focus on. And beginning of the year, that's if we're looking at resolutions, if that's the kind of thing that you do, then perhaps this is part of the picture, part of the process, recognizing parts of yourself that you might want to, quote unquote, work on. I put it in quotes because it's certainly a process, and I don't mean to minimize the idea of work, but this stuff is hard, and sometimes it's more not about work as it is processing and experiencing in this combination of back and forth with stuff. I'll stop there. But so lots here to kind of look into. When I have cards like this show up, my immediate reaction is like, to talk about it, recognize it, but then talk about the strategy to deal with it. So that's why I'm kind of going on and on about it. But if this isn't divinatory for you today, if this isn't where you look at stuff and feel reflective on those parts of yourself, then for guidance, for meditation, considering all those aspects of who we are, what we have to contend with, for us to be complete and total people, we have to look at the dark as well as the light. What we do with those things are, I think, as important as being able to recognize them as well. Maybe in some ways even more important. So I will leave it at that. Y'all have a good day. If you have questions or comments, I will take a look at the posts here. Otherwise, have a good day, y'all. Talk to you tomorrow.